Welcome back to Call of the Father. Today I'm going to talk about jealousy as a red flag. Earlier I was listening to some music, doing some work, and this song, I Still Get Jealous, came on. And I was kind of just paying attention to the lyrics, and I didn't like it. It was talking, kind of justifying being jealous, and it even said, it said that he likes it when she gets jealous too. And I'm like, no, but I don't like that. Just got me thinking about jealousy. And so I decided I'm just going to do an episode on this because there's some things about jealousy that I've thought about this a lot for a long time. And I just want to share some of my thoughts on it. Anyway, I think that, as the title says, jealousy it doesn't come from a love vibration. It's just not. It's a red flag. It can only be a red flag. And I believe that jealousy comes from not feeling enough. Or maybe you have programming from childhood trauma or things after childhood, situations where you were programmed to have belief systems that you were not enough. And I think probably all of us have trauma. I think everybody's been wounded, and so we're going through life. We want to feel like enough, and we want to connect with other people. I think that's inherent being a human. We all want to connect, and we all want to feel loved, and we all want to feel enough. And maybe the place that manifests the most as adults or even adolescents is romantic relationships. We want to get into a relationship where we feel like this is it, I feel enough, I feel good. And I think a lot of it, I've said before about love, really to have the highest capacity to give and receive love, it's only achieved by healing from the trauma that we have been through and healing and growing into full acceptance of ourselves. If you don't fully accept and love yourself, then I don't believe you can really manifest or participate in the relationship that you would want in a romantic fashion, and it's just not going to work out. It's not going to be what you really desire deep down. So one of the things I think is that just jealousy being a red flag, it should be a red flag to both parties involved. If somebody's getting jealous of you or of what you're doing, you can look at yourself. Am I doing things that might bring this on or make them feel insecure? Am I being fair to them in this relationship? Because that could be the case. And it's always good. I think accountability is the most important thing that we can all have. Personal accountability. So if somebody's jealous of you, you should ask yourself, did I bring this on? Am I doing something that I wouldn't want them to do to me? Am I doing something that I could do better and I would want to do better? If you're the one being jealous, then there's at least a couple things you should ask yourself. One, do I actually feel like I'm not enough? Because if that's the case, if you just get jealous and you're feeling like it could be you. It could just be you and you're just not feeling enough, and then every little thing could make you feel that way. Be careful not to get gaslit in that situation by somebody who actually is keeping tons of options open and having nefarious intentions in their heart. But you should always look at yourself. If that's the case and you're not feeling like enough, then it could mean two things. Maybe you're not ready for that relationship, or maybe you need to just work on healing, work on some past trauma, work on belief systems, and do the work to heal. And maybe that relationship can continue. Maybe it's fine, but really we always have to look at ourselves and focus on healing and growing. The second thing that I'd ask myself, if I'm feeling jealous is she testing me? There's two ways that could go. Is she trying to make me jealous because maybe she doesn't feel enough, and maybe I'm not giving her the attention that she desires, and so she thinks that if I've seen this a lot in relationships, I see it in other people's relationships, and it seems to be an inherent thing that a lot of people will do. They try to make that, they bring in situations to try to make the other person jealous because it makes them feel like, I don't know, maybe they think it's going to overcome their feelings of not being enough. If that's the case, that's not healthy, and maybe we can have a conversation, but it might just be a red flag that I wouldn't overlook it too long, and I wouldn't accept it. Like I said, maybe one conversation, if I'm in a situation where somebody's trying to make me jealous and I'm like, hey, why are you doing this? Maybe we can have an adult conversation, but if it just continues and this person would continue to do that, I'm out. I'm ready to drop them. I'm okay with that. I know that I'm enough. And even if this relationship goes away, if that person goes away, I was already enough, and I'm going to be enough. And I'm still here for me. It's okay. Why would I want to live in a miserable situation where the relationship is bringing on all these feelings to make me feel inadequate? That's a step backward from the healing work that I've done. So I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to put up with that crap. I have a funny little story about somebody trying to make someone jealous. I like to sing karaoke, and so sometimes I'll go down to the place real close to my house here and sing karaoke on a Friday night or something. And I have a really good friend, one of my best friends. He likes to go down there with me sometimes, and we'll have a drink and just sing some songs. And anyway, so I'm single, he's not, but he always kind of, I don't know, he can play the wingman sometimes. And we went down there one night not too long ago, probably a few months, it might have been a year ago, I don't even remember. We went down there, and there was this girl, and it looked like she was with this guy, but we couldn't tell. And then it looked like maybe they're just friends, because she kept making eyes at me, and she kept trying to, I don't know, she was wanting attention, and it was kind of apparent. And so then after a while, I was like, I'm just going to ask her to sing a song with me. And so I asked her to sing a song. We sang together. And then my buddy, of course, he's hilarious. He goes and starts talking to the guy to figure out what the deal is. And then after the song, he comes over and he's like, yeah, so I talked to him and they are going out. That's his girlfriend. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say he's about 4 irritated. So I think he can sing one more song with her before we get in a fight. Anyway, I quit talking to her. I knew that she was going out with him, but it was real apparent what she was trying to do. He wasn't quite giving her enough attention, what she wanted. And so she was going to make him jealous, so they started being clingy with her. She was trying to be clingy with him after that. And honestly, even if, I'm not interested in a girl like that, or I'm not interested in somebody who has that amount of insecurity or plays games like that anyway. So I wish him the best, but anyway, that's just a funny little story. The other way that it could be that she just is keeping options open. It could be that she's not trying to make me feel jealous, because I've seen situations where, the most typical, usually, it could go both ways, guy or girl, but I've seen where the guy's getting jealous and the girl is getting mad at him, acting like, you don't trust me, you don't know. No, maybe they don't trust you, and maybe there's things going on there, but maybe one of the biggest factors that I've seen there is that she's keeping options open. Like I said, we we've all been wounded, and when we go into relationships, and if we haven't really worked on healing and growing and knowing that we're enough in ourselves, then I think we tend to keep options open because we don't know that we can trust that yet. And so we might try to keep options open. I've done it before, and I'm not proud of it. Even in my marriage, after the fact, and I'm going to share this situation where I saw a red flag very early on. I can blame the whole marriage, the whole everything on myself if I want to be ultra accountable. I can blame it on me because I overlooked a red flag that I feel now I never should have overlooked. But after the red flag and after overlooking it, I did something I'm not proud of, trying to keep my options open because I wasn't sure. I didn't know that I felt enough or that she saw me as enough. And so I kind of kept some options open. I didn't act on them, but it wasn't right. It wasn't the standards that I want to live by in my life. So I'm not going to overlook red flags, and I think that you should not either. You should be very aware going into a relationship what you see as a red flag. As soon as something doesn't feel right, don't overlook it. Don't let it pass by without investigating it deeply. As I was saying, it might be that she's just keeping options open, or the other person, put yourself in this situation, it might be that they're keeping options open. They aren't necessarily trying to instigate jealousy in you, but they're keeping options open, and you see it and sense it and feel it. That's a major red flag. Something's wrong in the relationship, or something's wrong in her belief systems, or something's wrong in your belief systems. And jealousy is always a red flag. I wholeheartedly believe that. So if she's testing or trying to make me jealous, or even if she's not trying but just wanting to keep her options open, playing into attention from others, she wants to have her cake and eat it too, I'm not going to put up with that crap. This doesn't mean getting controlling. That's how I'm not going to handle my own jealousy. It's possible that it can pop up for me, but I'm going to handle my own crap. And if I feel jealous, it means I'm going to handle the situation not by being controlling and getting mean and nasty. I'm going to handle the situation. I'll probably bring it up as gently as I can once and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, and see if that's kind of a test in itself. And I think if we can have an adult conversation, then she's like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that this would feel that way, and I didn't. Anyway, a lot of it comes down to intentions of the heart, and I've talked about intentions of the heart before. I really want to know where her intentions are in that, so that I can know whether I do want to move forward in this relationship or not. If it feels like the intentions are impure, then I don't know where we'll go from there, but it's likely I'll drop the relationship. She's free to go and go find what she really wants and what makes her feel good and feel enough in life. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go back to myself and just know that I feel enough anyway. And that's why I was willing to drop the relationship when I saw the red flag. But I think it can be hard to have those conversations. And I think that's the goal, is to talk through things. But that's not always possible. Sometimes the intentions are bad. Now, if you're on the other side of that and they're the one jealous of you, then that's a red flag. That's a red flag that, like I said, you can look at yourself, or you can look at, is this person just so not enough that they're not ready for this relationship? And if that's the case, you always should look at your intentions. But if you can identify that they're just not ready for this kind of a relationship, then you should be willing to let them go. You should be willing to let them go and just move on. in my marriage, I can definitely say that just looking back, I can see that I didn't feel enough. There were a lot of things that I think I was at a better point in my life before the marriage, felt a little more adequate, but I was not healed. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't where I am now or where I want to be, and I want to keep growing, but I did not feel enough, and that feeling of not being enough grew over time in that relationship. That's not healthy at all. It's regressing. It's the opposite of growth. And there were situations in our marriage where I didn't feel comfortable with certain things. There were, I don't know, just certain little situations and people that might have been involved in her life, just little scenarios, and I didn't feel comfortable with it. And I tried to say something without, and really it's just pointed at me that I'm just jealous. Really, I do believe that on some level she's trying to keep some options open. In the end, it shows, I mean, it is what it is. An option was taken. A different option was taken. So what I felt in my gut was probably true. So moving forward from there, what I see in my life, like if I'm in a relationship and I'm uncomfortable with somebody that she keeps close, I might listen to my gut and just be willing to let her go. It's not a control thing. That's not a control thing. It's a red flag thing. And if I see the red flag and I can't, it's not something I want to put up with, I know I'm enough, but I don't want to be in that situation with her. Toward the end of my marriage, I remember saying in my heart to God that it wasn't comfortable. I didn't feel good, and some of these situations came up where I was feeling a little bit jealous, and I was like, man, God, if we could somehow not, and in my mind I thought the only way was one of us dying or an affair or whatever. I think like maybe in some way it manifested from that, but I thought if we were just not married anymore, it would be better and she could do whatever the hell she wants and I don't have to care or worry about it. In my mind, that's actually not jealousy. It's kind of the opposite, and that's where I'm kind of going with this. We should always think that we have the option to get out of a relationship. And that's one of the problems I have with marriage. And now to each their own, I respect everybody's right to pick their own life and how they want to live it and what rules they want to abide by. But I just think I want to be a man of honor, a man of my own word. And I don't know that I believe that I have to do a contract where somebody else is telling me what I have to do. I want to live, like my integrity, I want to hold my standards of integrity higher than any contract could ever hold me accountable. So talking about just the situation of options or scenarios where being in a relationship. Recently, I had a girl that I considered a pretty good friend, as we really connected on spirituality and personal growth, and we talked about some pretty deep things. We connected online. She lived far away in another state, and so we only talked on social media, but I think that she was very attractive. Like she would meet my physical standard, what I'd be attracted to and want to have a relationship with, but she lived far away, and so I kind of saw it as a friendship because of the distance, but I really valued that friendship and the connection we had and the things we talked about. She was very encouraging to me. I shared that I wanted to start this podcast, and she was encouraging to me in several ways and kind of helped me in the beginning with that. And I really appreciated that, and I appreciated her heart and the way that she looked at things growth-wise and spirituality. Anyway, one day not too long ago, a few months ago here, she said that she needed to scale back our conversations out of respect for her relationship. and I didn't pay enough attention to know that she was actually in a relationship. So kind of surprised me, but I was like, okay, I see that, and wow, okay, that kind of, I guess I was sad to lose the connection, but I really respected that. I respected that she would handle her own crap, and if this felt like it got in the way of, or in any way stepped on the relationship that she was engaging in, man, that's a major green flag to me. That's the kind I would want to find a person who would deal with this situation that way. So good for her, good for him. I hope that he's good to her and deserving of her, because that showed me she's a good person. She has good intentions in her heart, which I already kind of felt and knew. And I hope that this didn't come up out of him seeing something and being jealous. I hope that this was something she initiated on her own, because that's a major green flag. If she just saw that she was getting close to him and this was not where she wanted to cause hiccups in her relationship, good for her. What a good human being. Anyway, like I said, I just think I don't want to be jealous, and I don't want to give somebody ultimatums in a relationship when I see situations I don't like. Just handle your own shit in a way that shows me respect. Have an honest conversation with yourself about whether you're keeping someone in your life for options because you could always go to them. And good question to ask yourself also is, would the person in question, the person that you're keeping close, would they willingly cheat with you on your partner? That's a big question, because I see that one overlooked, and I see people pretend everything's innocent. And I think they really, deep down in their hearts, they know. You know when you're engaging with somebody who would cheat with you in a heartbeat. You know it. And if that's the case, that's probably, if you're going to live with pure intentions and good integrity, that's probably a relationship you should drop. Otherwise, you're just not being honest with yourself, and you're not being fair to your partner. When I was dating my ex, or we were just I guess I don't know that I'd say dating. We'd been talking for a while. We kind of connected online. We knew each other in high school, but didn't talk much then. Came across each other and started talking. And after a while, it was getting pretty close. And I knew that she was very attracted to me, and I was very attracted to her. And at the time, I did have options, but I felt really close to her. And I was playing into that. And I knew that in my mind, without saying I love you, and without, I guess out of fairness, I hadn't made a commitment to her, a deep commitment, but I knew that she should feel what I felt, and I knew that she should know that we were getting really close. And I felt that she should honor that if that's what she wanted. And then one day, a situation came up where she told me this guy that obviously liked her, there's no question, he wanted to get in her pants, wanted a piece of that, and he'd asked her to go snowmobiling with him. And so she told me about this. He'd asked me to go snowmobiling and this and that, and I was kind of like, why are you telling me? Like, I didn't say anything. I kind of, it was I guess maybe not fair, but in my mind, it was, I'm watching to see what you decide, because this feels pretty serious between her and I felt that she should have told him no, just like this other friend that I told you about. She shut it down out of respect for the guy that she's getting into a relationship with, or wherever they're at in that. she shut down our friendship, which I just respected that. It was the right thing to do. And my ex didn't do that. She decided to go snowmobiling. I didn't say anything. I didn't give her ultimatums. I didn't tell her that I didn't think that she should. And that was a red flag to me. And I didn't honor that red flag. I kind of overlooked it based on just that I had not told her not to. I felt like I didn't have a claim to her. I didn't make our relationship exclusive. Like it's a mutual thing. She's got to feel that way too. And I didn't make that commitment. So I overlooked the red flag. But to me, that continued to come up. That situation I never really felt good about the whole time we were married. It was always a little thorn in my side. And I never liked that. And it made me question if I could really trust. So I guarantee that led into some of the things where I was accused of being jealous. And, fair's fair. You can call jealousy what it is, and I was. But I also just wanted to be treated fairly. The situations that were coming up were legitimate situations where I think anybody would maybe feel jealous. But there's also the fact that I wasn't healed. I hadn't dealt with my own childhood trauma and gotten to a point where I did feel enough. Just everything was kind of just a perfect storm. And in the end, I feel that it's very necessary to see jealousy as a red flag and deal with it. So pay attention to your own personal red flags. They're things you're going to feel in your heart, in your gut. Something doesn't feel good. Pay close attention and sit with it and investigate it. Ask yourself why. Could be you. Could be feelings of not enough. It could be the other person doing things deliberately that maybe they're not living up to the same standards that you would expect. And so you got to be fair to them. They should be fair to you. Honor the red flags and be willing to move out early on if that doesn't work. That's something I'm trying to teach my kids. My kids are navigating romantic feelings and things. I got 2 daughters in high school, and it'd be naive to expect them to not engage in romantic relationships. They have feelings. They are attracted to boys, and I see that as a good thing. So I'm trying to help them navigate that, and I try to encourage them. I'll probably do an episode on this sometime soon. It's been on my mind to do an episode on this, navigating kids and their romantic attractions, how to encourage them and how to mentor them through that. I encourage it. I see that right now, if I'm engaged and open with them and this is a safe place, I'm creating the safest place for them to engage in these relationships and figuring things out for themselves. I'm doing that now for them. When they're adults, I want them to be able to see red flags like I'm talking about. See them early and move on. See if something's not something they can negotiate their way through, or I don't know that that's the best word talking about red flags. It's not a negotiation, but if it's not something they can talk through and come to mutual conclusions that are acceptable, then they should be willing to move on. And the stakes are low now as they're teenagers. That's what I see. So I want them to learn what they like, learn what they don't like, and develop these red flags and green flags. Know what they're looking for. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week.